Highlights of the action-packed Bela Motor Rally is proudly presented by Motorsport South Africa and its partners Toyota, Volkswagen, Ford, Sasol and Dunlop. It has been a battle of epic proportions, a 9-month adventure which saw the cream of South Africa's drivers cross the length and width of our beautiful country to face off against each other and the stopwatch. And although the overall war has been won, one final battle remains. This is the first ever Bela Motor Rally. After visits to 6 of the country's 9 provinces, the 2014 South African Rally Championship returns to Limpopo for a second time this year. But the bushveld-type stages on the farms and areas near the town formerly known as warm baths will be new to all involved. But the town and its friendly people received the rally circus with open arms in anticipation of the spectacle that was about to erupt. And these are the names of some of the drivers that will be responsible for putting up the show. Toyota's Leroy Poulter is having a vintage year and already clinched the title on the previous round, but behind him, it is all to play for with Hans Weiss, Hergen Fecken and outgoing champion Mark Cronje all still in with a shot of finishing second in the title race. With Poulter already wearing the championship crown, Bela will be all about the battle for second between Volkswagen's Hans Weiss and Toyota's Hergen Fecken.
It's very close at the moment, you know. If you throw away the points, 7 out of 8 events score, then we are more or less equal. So whoever is higher placed on this rally between Hans and myself takes second in championship. So the aim is to beat Hans at all costs.
It's something to try, but we must see. Hergen is always fast in Toyota, so yeah, we must catch him.
And although it's mostly mathematical, outgoing champion Mark Cronje could still end what was a difficult season in second position overall.
Yeah, look, I think at the way the season has gone this year, it's really just to consolidate at the end and make the fans happy, and that's really what we're going to be doing.
But it's Leroy Poulter who will start the event knowing that no matter what happens, he is already the 2014 South African Rally Champion.
It's actually quite strange being here and you know, obviously coming into the race having no pressure, but I mean obviously we still want to perform, and I think the important thing is to help Hergen come into second in the championship.
Besides the battle for second in the championship, the remaining crews will also have their sights set on ending the 2014 season on a high. So also expect a no-holds-barred approach from Toyota's Janelle de Villiers and the trio of Volkswagens driven by Henk Latergan, Gugu Zulu and young Namibian Tilo Himmel. The recently finished Bela Mall played host to the ceremonial start of the rally, where the mayor of the Limpopo town councillor Lucas Nhlapo was eager to wave the teams off as they embarked on their 2-day adventure. The Imperial Toyota of Janelle de Villiers was the first to leave the start ramp, followed by the Volkswagen of Gugu Zulu and another Toyota driven by Hergen Fecken. Henk Latergan was fourth on the road ahead of Mark Cronje's Ford and the Toyota of newly crowned champion Leroy Poulter. Hans Weiss was to launch his onslaught from 7th with Tilo Himmel in 8th. And finally, time for the much anticipated action to get underway on 18 kilometers of newly scraped and dusty dirt roads, which winds its way through the African bush on the outskirts of the town. The roads were smooth but also narrow, leaving no room for error.
The clock counts down to 0 for Janelle de Villiers and co-driver Greg Godrich, who venture off into the unknown behind the wheel of the Imperial Toyota Yaris. And precisely 2 minutes later, Gugu Zulu and Carl Pes can do the same, but from behind the wheel of their Volkswagen and Sasol Racing Polo. This is Hergen Fecken and Kerlin Swan in the Castle Toyota Yaris, who start their quest to end the season second on the points ladder. Up ahead, De Villiers was nearing the end of the tight and twisty Stage 1, or 2020 developments as it was called, and the Imperial Toyota stopped the clock on 14 minutes and 29 seconds.
Very tricky stage. I mean, you really tricky on the braking, slippery.
It was still early days, but Guguzulu must have found the going tough as he stopped the clock on 14 minutes and 51 seconds.
Caution, then caution, sudden right 5, left 8 narrow, right 9.
Yeah, not a good start. I think we picked up a puncture on the rear left and yeah.
And with everything to gain, Hargen Vekken gets his challenge underway with a quick time of 14 minutes and 22 seconds.
Yeah, it's fun, eh? It's very tricky, very tight.
Next up, the second Volkswagen Sassel Racing Polo of Henk Lategan and Barry White. But Lategan did not enjoy the twisty roads and struggled to find a good rhythm as he stopped the clock on 14 minutes and 35 seconds, or 13 seconds slower than Vekken. Outgoing champions Mark Cronje and Robin Houghton may have relinquished their title, but Cronje was still keen to put up a show for his fans, and that's exactly what he did. The number 24 Ford Racing Fiesta came out of the blocks.
Into right 8, right 8.
It was clean. It's a difficult stage. It's really, really slippery.
2014 saw a great battle between Cronje and the new champion pairing of Leroy Poulter and Elvin Coetzee, and the last rally of the year would be no different. With the title already safely in the bag, Poulter could afford to throw caution to the wind, and a time of 14 minutes and 12 seconds was a full 7 seconds faster. The Dutch and Belgian pairing of Hans Weiss and Bjorn de Gant made it clear that they were also here to fight, and fight they did. 14 minutes and 16 seconds meant that the Volkswagen Sassel Racing Polo was slap bang in the middle of the action and beautifully poised for the battle that still remained.
Links in. En toef naar rechts, plus rechts 2 snel. Rechts 2.
Okay, not my best time ever, but okay.
Off to stage 2, a short 10-kilometre blast on the new roads of the Bela waterfront estate, and another chance for the protagonists to try and stamp some authority on the event.
Janelle de Villiers will have to sweep the roads clean all day long, and Imperial Toyota Yaris sets the first benchmark time of 5 minutes and 16.5 seconds. Times on these type of stages can be extremely close, as proved by Guguzulu and his Volkswagen Sassel Racing Polo. 5 minutes and 16.1 seconds, half a second faster than de Villiers.
Into left 5, right 5, no cut concrete. Then 130.
And this is why stage times are measured to the 10th of a second, as Hargen Vekken improves on Zulu's time to set a new benchmark, but not by much. But benchmark times are there to be broken, and that's what Henk Lategan set off to do as he was trying to find his rhythm. Vekken's benchmark time was 5 minutes and 14.4 seconds, and Lategan stopped the clock on, you guessed it, 5 minutes and 14.4 seconds. Mark Cronje has won more stages than anyone else in 2014, and a time of 5 minutes and 11.7 seconds could well earn himself another stage victory.
Left 7, right 1 tight and 6 is left 9 tight. Right 1.
But not if Leroy Poulter can help it. The newly crowned champion already won the first stage, but a time of 5 minutes and 12 seconds flat was a little slower, just 0.3 seconds slower to be exact. And as with stage 1, Hans Weiss throws his Volkswagen Sassel Racing Polo straight into the mix with another competitive time of 5 minutes and 12.9 seconds. It could not be any closer.
Confirmation of just how close it really was. After nearly 30 kilometres of flat-out gravel racing, Leroy Poulter takes a slender lead of just more than 4 seconds over determined Hans Weiss, with Mark Cronje in hot pursuit and just a further 2 seconds adrift. Hargen Vekken currently occupied 4th, ahead of Janelle de Villiers. A quick visit to the Dunlop Service Park in the middle of town was welcomed by both man and machine, while the locals got an opportunity to get up close and personal with their rally heroes. But it was soon time to return to the dusty bushveld for stages 3 and 4, the same pieces of road that was used as stages 1 and 2.
With both these stages being repeated, Janelle de Villiers and Greg Godrich did not have to play the role of road sweepers anymore, but the Dakar legend soon had other problems to worry about. The power steering inside the Imperial Toyota Yaris failed. Definitely not what you want on twisty stages such as these ones. De Villiers lost nearly 2 minutes, ruining his afternoon in the process.
Yeah, it seems like bad luck again, you know. Third stage, we had a midway through problem with the power steering. A pipe came off and we had no power steering whatsoever. So, you know, one of the most difficult stages for it to happen.
The problems inside the de Villiers Toyota would have been good news for Guguzulu and Kolb Eskin, who made the best of their rivals' misfortunes. The first of the Volkswagen Sassel Racing Polo drivers grabbed the opportunity with both hands as he moved past the ailing Yaris of de Villiers to gain a position on the overall leaderboard.
Left one in, right 3, left 1, sudden to narrow right 9.
Zulu was not the only Volkswagen driver to benefit. Henk Latergan and Barry White started this loop of stages down in 6th position overall, but quickly moved into 5th after stage 3, a position which they comfortably managed to hang on to after stage 4. And young Namibian driver Thilo Himmel and South African co-driver Armand de Tooy also moved past the stricken Toyota when their Volkswagen Polo climbed the leaderboard to end the day in 7th. But as expected, the battle up front was as hot as the summer bushveld weather. Hergen Vecken and Carolyn Swan had everything to gain as they battled for 2nd place in the overall championship. But it's the Ford Fiesta of Mark Ronnier and Robin Houghton who pips Vecken by less than a single second on stage 3. The Castrol Toyota Yaris managed to turn the tables on stage 4, but the difference was just 0.3 of a second. So Ronnier maintains his current 3rd place overall ahead of Vecken. So the fight for the lead became a duel between the Castrol Toyota of Leroy Poulter and Alvin Coetzee and the Volkswagen Sassel Racing Polo of Hans Weiss and Bjorn de Gant. These conditions clearly suited the Yaris of Poulter, who continued his winning ways by setting the fastest stage times on both stages 3 and 4 to extend his overall lead over the Polo of Weiss. Weiss himself was driving out of his skin in what had to be the best showing by the Dutchman in quite a few rallies. But although it was going well for Weiss at this stage, he did find himself with a very peculiar problem to deal with.
But, you know, I have 2 difficulties. I want to be in front of Hergen, and actually I want to win the rally.
The first day of the final rally of 2014 drew to a close as the sun started to set over the Bela bushveld, while the teams prepared their bruised and battered machinery in the Dunlop Service Park for day 2. After the break, the entire 2014 South African Rally Championship reaches its climax when the victory champagne will be sprayed one last time. But who will it be?
At EFC 36, the newly crowned champion, Boyd Allen, will set out to prove that he is undisputedly the best featherweight in the organization. Standing in his way is the incredibly dangerous, lethal stand-up specialist, Wade Groff, the biggest threat the champion has ever faced. EFC 36, 11 December, live and in HD, exclusive to Supersport.
They can see him coming, they can hear him coming, but they can't stop him. And that's the end of the game. And Aguero! The Blues have battered away. Oh, that's beautifully done. And what a magnificent finish.
Football forever. The UEFA Champions League. Live and in HD. Only on Supersport.
This is the final final day of the brand new Bela Motor Rally and also the final day of the entire 2014 South African Rally Championship. And it has all the makings to be an epic day for both the drivers and the spectators who've come out to witness the action. And these are the standings after day one. Leroy Poulter won 3 of the opening day's 4 stages to hold a lead of 14 seconds, but then it gets really close with just 7 seconds separating Hans Weiss in second and Havken Fecken in fourth, with Marc Cronje the meat in the sandwich. Back in the service park, Leroy Poulter had time to reflect on a good year and a good rally so far.
We had a really good day yesterday. I think everything just gelled. The car was really good in that type of terrain, and Alvin did a really good job.
His teammate Havken Fecken had a bit of a mountain to climb in his efforts to claim second place on the points ladder.
We're 7 seconds behind, so we have to push really hard to make up that time.
With not much to lose, Marc Cronje had every intention to end the season on a high.
You know, at the end of the day, still got to get to the end of the rally, so it's a bit of a juggling act. But I think we'll keep the people entertained.
And over at the Volkswagen camp, second place man Hans Weiss had a few important decisions to make.
I want to be in front of Hagen, and everything we can do more is in the pocket. But
the compact and spectator-friendly nature of the Bela Motor Rally meant that all stages were literally within just a few kilometres of the Limpopo town, making it very easy for the spectators to follow the action. The day will kick off with the running of stages 5, 6 and 7 all on the trot, and therefore without the opportunity to service the cars in between.
As rally leaders, Leroy Poulter and Alvin Coetzee will have the honour of opening the road on day 2. A tough task considering that most of these roads are virgin territory. But Poulter is the champion for a reason, and he set the benchmark time of 10 minutes and 2 seconds on stage 5, followed by a blistering 16 minutes and 32 seconds on the 27 kilometers that made up stage 6. From second on the road, Hans Weiss and Bjorn de Gant were still wondering if they should protect their second position or gun for a victory. But either way, both options required the same thing, and that was to go flat out.
Yeah, it was a good one. No problem.
And with not much more to lose, Marc Cronje and Robin Houghton had exactly the same intentions. They were hoping that the slightly more open nature of stages 5 and 6 would suit their Ford Fiesta more.
I thought we had a reasonable stage there.
And also hoping to influence the outcome was the second of the Castrol Toyotas driven by Havken Fecken and Caroline Swan. They only had around 6 seconds to make up to join the fight for second position. But Fecken found the going tough and lost a full 14 seconds to his rivals on the day's opening stage before fighting back to win stage 6, but the damage was done.
No, we had an overshoot. We lost a lot of time.
With Fecken dropping out of contention, the fight for second position now turned into a full-blown war between Marc Cronje and Hans Weiss. Cronje reduced the deficit between them by a slender half a second after stage 5, but the Dutch driver in his Volkswagen returned the favour on the following stage, this time by 1.5 seconds. Behind the top 4, the fight for 5th was between Volkswagen Sassel Racing teammates Henk Lategan and Barry White and the popular Guguzulu and co-driver Carl Peske. Lategan had a comfortable 26-second advantage over his teammate Zulu, but the young man had a disastrous opening loop of stages filled with mechanical niggles that saw his Polo drop down the leaderboard. Zulu accepted the gift with open arms as he gladly took over 5th position overall. Janelle de Villiers was a man on a mission. After disastrous day 1, the Dakar legend set a blistering pace on the morning of day 2 to move past the Volkswagen Polo of Thilo Himmel. But de Villiers' joy was short-lived as his Imperial Toyota cried enough on stage 6, handing the position back to the young Namibian. Meanwhile, back at the front of the pack, Leroy Poulter and Alvin Coetzee seem to have had everything well under control as they carefully managed their lead of around 16 seconds. But their championship-winning season ended on the side of the road with a blown engine. And all of a sudden the fight for second turned into a duel for victory with the Volkswagen Sassel Racing Polo of Hans Weiss trading blows with the number 24 Ford Fiesta of Marc Cronje. And it was Cronje who set the fastest time of all on stage 7, but it's Weiss who now led the rally overall by a slender 1.8 seconds.
Here's the confirmation of a very eventful morning, which saw the name of Leroy Poulter disappear from the leaderboard. Hans Weiss is the new leader, but he has a determined Marc Cronje breathing down his neck, while Herman Fecken lost touch with the leaders, but is still in third, ahead of 2 more Volkswagen Polos. Being a spectator for the last few stages is not quite the way that champion Leroy Poulter would have wanted to end the season.
You know, it started the stage before, it had a little bit of a splutter and we thought, you know, it's something electrical or something, and then this time it was, you know, it's a stop.
And Volkswagen's hard work and determination throughout what was a very tough season had a good chance of paying off, with Hans Weiss just 3 stages away from a memorable victory.
We must push. I want to win, but I must also have a championship, second place. So it's a really bit difficult situation, and yeah, we will see what we can do.
But Weiss still had one more challenge to overcome: the relentless pursuit of Marc Cronje.
I think we're going to push hard and see what we can pull out the bag of it. Yeah, he's got a lot more to lose than what I do.
Just 3 more stages remain, the last 3 stages of the 2014 championship. They're also the same 3 stages that were used earlier in the day, but this time they will determine who will spray the champagne for the last time in 2014.
Young Namibian Tilo Himmel and co-driver Armand de Tooy were on course for a good finish, but the pairing was forced to retire during stage 8, leaving the door open for the young guns of the Super 1600 class for front-wheel drive cars with an engine capacity up to 1600 cc's to slog it out for overall top 10 positions. In the end, it was the Electro-Thread Toyota Etios of Chris Koertse and Marie van der Walt who claimed 10th overall, just 14 seconds behind the little Ford Fiesta of Cape Townians Ashley Hake Smith and Damien van As. Andrew Hein and Robbie Coetzee claimed the points for 8th overall and 3rd in class behind the wheel of their Volkswagen Polo. While Ernie van der Walt and new co-driver Rowan Robertson reached the end in 7th overall and 2nd in the highly competitive Super 1600 class behind the wheel of their Ferrodo Ford Fiesta. This class, which essentially is the training ground for South Africa's future rally stars, was all about the Yato Tools Toyota Etios of Guy Bottrell and Simon Vasilal, who already clinched the title with 1 round to spare. Bottrell was aiming for yet another victory here in Bela, but a melted fuel tank brought an end to his aspirations, allowing the young pairing of Paul Franken and Henry Kerner to step up to the plate. These young Cape Townians drove brilliantly to not only record a career-best 6th position overall in a rally, but the Manitou Group Volkswagen Polo also recorded its first ever Class Super 1600 win. The seesaw battle for the minor S2000 placings continued between Volkswagen Sassel Racing teammates Gugu Zulu and Henk Latergan. Thanks to a few issues inside the Polo of Latergan, it seemed as if Zulu could afford to cruise to a comfortable 4th place finish. But it wasn't to be, as a severe misfire under the bonnet of Zulu's Polo robbed it of valuable power. He had no choice but to relinquish his 4th place to his teammate Henk Latergan, who recovered well on day 2 with a few very competitive stage times. A tough event for both of them, but Volkswagen management was still happy having 2 cars in the top 5. Castrol Toyota's Hergen Fecken and Callan Swan started the rally with every intention to beat their rival Hans Weiss, and in doing so, taking 2nd position in the championship. The former double champion threw everything at it and even won the final 2 stages in a last and desperate effort to affect the outcome. But the deficit proved just too much, and he was left with no choice but to settle for 3rd on both the rally and the championship. With Fecken now out of contention, it was all down to Marc Cronje and Robin Houghton in the Ford Fiesta and Hans Weiss and Bjorn de Gant in the Volkswagen Sassel Racing Polo. One of these 2 would win the Bela Motor Rally, but which one? Cronje started the final loop of stages just 1.8 seconds behind the rally leader Hans Weiss, so the stage was set for the final showdown. But you just heard Cronje say that he's got a puncture. The left rear tyre was indeed flat in 20 seconds and pretty much all chance of victory was lost. Weiss didn't immediately know that Cronje ran into trouble, so the Dutchman was still pushing hard as he had done all rally long. But after stage 8, and now with only 2 stages to go, the Volkswagen had a comfortable lead of more than 20 seconds. Mark Cronje gave it one final push on the last few kilometers of 2014, but in a rally this close, there was no realistic chance for him to do anything about a more than 20-second deficit. And this left Volkswagen's fate in the blistered hands of Hans Weiss and his co-driver Bjorn de Gaan. Weiss drove a faultless rally all weekend, but these last few moments were tense, not only for the Dutchman, but especially for Volkswagen team bosses who waited anxiously at the end of the very last stage. It's been a season that can only be described as filled with character building for the motor industry giant, but they were now just seconds away from an emphatic victory. And what relief as the Polo emerged from the last corner of the Bela Motor Rally to claim Volkswagen's first victory in 2 years.
A great day for Hans Weiss and Volkswagen, who emerged victorious by 22 seconds from outgoing champion Mark Cronje. Hargen Vekken finished third, but a great rally for Volkswagen, with all 3 of their cars appearing on the final leaderboard, with the names of Lategan and Zulu in 4th and 5th. Third on the day also meant third in the overall championship for Hargen Vekken.
We would have wanted to have had the second, 1 and 2 for Toyota, but it didn't work out in the end.
Mark Cronje fought as hard as ever and got to spray champagne from the second step of the podium to finish what was a difficult year for the former champion.
Yeah, it's always nice to carry a bit of momentum going forward into the new year. So hopefully we can keep the sponsors happy and carry the momentum. That's what we wanted to do.
But the man of the moment must have been Volkswagen's Hans Weiss, who claimed his second victory on South African soil exactly 24 months after doing it for the first time.
Yeah, it's good. And yeah, okay, we won the 2012 last rally and this last rally, so I hope we can start sometime further with.
And a reminder to also join us next week for the highlights of the Super 1600 battle that took place on the 2014 Bela Motor Rally. 5 provinces, 8 battles and one massive war which consisted of around 100 special stages and more than 1,500 kilometers against the stopwatch. This was the 2014 South African Rally Championship, and in 2015 we can do it all over again. Highlights from the Bela Motor Rally Round 8 of the 2014 South African Rally Championship was presented by Toyota, Volkswagen, Ford, Sasol and Dunlop.